trouble selling them. Now I think she was doing $1.5 million a year, and she had 1,000 different distribution channels, like a literal, as in like 1,000 different stores were carrying it. And if you're like, wait, 1,000 stores, 1.5 million a year, yes, the sell-through rate was very low, which means she was able to just basically front inventory to these people and they're not really moving it. And so when I hear that, and I heard that, I was like, okay, well, what experience do you have in this world at all? And she had sold a gin distillery, but for not a lot of money. And I was like, okay, well, that's kind of related. And then she was like, well, I've got Amazon going. I've got a Shopify store. I have B2B wholesale. And she had all these different lines of business. And I was like, well, and she just let all of her staff go. So it's just her. And it made zero profit. And she was asking me like, what should I do? And so, and this was tough for me because basically I like to think about what's the hypothetical extreme version of this business? What is the maximized version of this business? And so I saw two different paths here for her. Path one was and she said, I want to build $1 billion thing. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, if you want to build $1 billion thing, like that's going to be tough because you have no money. And so you have 1,000 distribution channels. And so what we have to do is either A, you somehow get a lot of money and get a premium brand sponsorship. You get somebody who can make the association with you. And then you use that brand sponsorship, you use The Rock, Logan Paul, whatever, to leverage into these master distribution bases. And that person promotes it so that people buy in person. Now she was RTD, meaning is ready to drink. And so shipping costs made direct to consumer for me not really a viable option. It's too expensive. Now, are there ways you can do it? Yeah, she was listed on Amazon. It didn't make a lot of money there, but it was there. Now, the core thing that I asked her, and by the way, if you're in this business, this is the core problem that you have to solve, is that I said, what percentage of people who drink your drink for the first time buy it again? And she didn't have that metric. If there's ever a fucking important metric in a business for consumer packaged goods, is what percentage of people who try the thing do it again. And then mind you, this is of ideal customers, not everybody. So if you have a kid's chocolate and you give it to old people, then they're probably not going to want to buy it again. But of the ideal avatar, of the ideal customer base that you have, what percentage of those people buy again? And she didn't even have that metric. It's like, well, this is going to be really tough. Now, she'd never run direct response before. So I was like, I know there's no way that she's going to be able to do media. She didn't like advertising. I was like, there's no way you're going to win, build $1 billion brand when you really have to be in the traffic business for cocktails if you're going to go to direct to consumer. Now, if she was like, I'm a Dollar Shave Club advertiser, then I'd been like, maybe there's a way she could figure something like this out, but that wasn't her skill set. And so it was like, okay, well, you could do this you knew how to get into distribution bases. That was her skill because she had the distillery. So that was the one thing she brought to the table, but she didn't understand branding at all. And she didn't know if the product was good because people didn't keep drinking it. So now what? She doesn't have any money. So either she'd have to raise a ton of money, which I didn't think made a lot of sense at the level that she was at, or the recommendation that I had is I said, listen, you're in the UK market. You need to go from 1,000 distribution places to shrinking all the way down to regional, and you need to go on foot and talk to each of the local sellers that sell your product at their liquor stores or at their convenience stores, and you need to stand there and sample and sample and sample and sample and tell your story. And when you do that, you'll make money. People will buy the product just from you being there. That's profitable on a day-to-day basis. But hopefully you do that a couple times a week at each store, and then all of a sudden the salespeople hear you saying it, and then you make sure that they get commissions when they sell your product, and then all of a sudden they start moving it for you. Now, all of this relies on the thing actually being good, that if people drink it, they come back and buy it again, because the salesman can always move the first can, and they're only going to really do it if they think it's good. And so, because they don't want to sacrifice their relational capital with the people that are regulars inside the store. Like, oh, hey, Sarah, well, what are you buying this week? Oh, no, we just got this new cocktail thing. You should give it a shot. It's pretty good, whatever. And so these were the core pieces of which I believe that she would have to do if she wanted to make this successful. And I said, now to be clear, in order for this to work, one, this thing has to be exceptional in terms of the taste, and people have to keep buying it. First core principle, that has to be true, because take it to its absolute extreme, all the marketing and branding in the world, you're simply going to tell everybody you have a mediocre product, they'll never buy it again. And so Jesse Itzler tells a story that I like a lot. He had this product called Sheets. It was a caffeinated like Listerine strip. And he partnered with LeBron. So he had premium brand, like Jesse gets it. Premium brand, big traffic, big distribution. He already had the connections with distribution. And he said they started cranking sales first week, second week, more sales, third week, even more sales, fourth week, even more sales. He's like, this thing's gonna be $1 billion brand in 2 years. This is gonna be unbelievable. Fifth week, sales go down. Sixth week, sales go even lower. Seventh week, sales go even lower. Why? And he says this. He's like, the product